Hello.
Hi everybody.
How are you?
I'm all right. I have got a fan on me. I had to close the windows, but apart from that, I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
Very hot. Very hot. Us Northerners aren't used to this at all.
Fair.
So,
Well, this really does remind me of summers in Cyprus. I have to say, it's very rare that I say this, but yeah, it's almost like the summers in Cyprus. And
it's so lovely, but
yeah,
it's so hot.
yes, yeah, it's so hot.
It's just hot, man.
Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining us again. It's so lovely to see you. Oh my God, we got someone
From
from Toronto in
Canada.
Canada. Welcome. You're very, very welcome. Thank you for joining us, everybody. And I think you all know that this is a poetry special this week.
It is.
So hopefully it will help everyone relax, calm, cool down. But I'm very excited. I think you are too. And as
I
usual,
am.
I've got a feeling we're going to have way too much content. Like, I have got piles and piles and piles and piles and piles of books,
Oh
and
my
that's not even
God.
all of them.
You
So,
came so prepared.
well, I just kept thinking, oh, that one and that one. Oh, I've got to show them that one. So it's going to be one of those hours, I think.
It
Um,
is.
and also, I think we've had some lovely suggestions from people as well. So thank you for joining us
And
for.
keep them coming if you have them throughout the
Yeah.
chat. We will keep checking the comments.
Exactly. So this is basically a poetry special, an hour of us just celebrating poetry, our favourite poets. But also, I think one of the things that came up when we kind of suggested we were going to do this is that some people feel that poetry just isn't very accessible,
Yeah.
that having studied it at school kind of ruined it for them. And it just felt like some kind of, I don't know, quiz or riddle that needed to be like solved, and it's just really hard to understand. So
Yeah.
I'm really hoping that this hour demystifies a lot of that and makes it much more accessible.
I hope so because that again was my experience with it. So I completely get it, but it can be so different.
Yeah, exactly. It really can. And I think also it's okay to just not like stuff. And
Yeah.
if it doesn't land with you, or even if you just don't understand it, which there's a lot that I don't understand,
Yeah.
then I just say it's not for me. I don't like it. It doesn't
You
really.
move on.
You move on. You
Yeah.
move on. Shab says, "Am I weird for loving poetry at school?" Yes, Shabs, you
No,
are. Yeah.
I don't think you're weird for it. I feel like I felt like I was weird for not liking it at the
Yeah.
time because everyone that was in like that module was like, oh yeah, like we're doing this, we're not doing X, Y, and Z. We're not
Yeah.
doing like commas or whatever. We're doing, we're doing poetry. And it would be like, I'd be like, oh, can I be asked? And they'd be like, oh yeah, I'd rather do this. So I felt
Yeah.
like I was weird.
Fair. Well, the moral of the story is that we all felt that we were the weird ones,
Yeah,
whatever side of the fence we stood on. And so that's a good moral of the story, isn't it? We're all going to be
yeah,
together, and we're all just gonna, yeah, yuck. We're not going to yuck anyone else's yum, but we're going to yum our own yums and find
yeah.
the ones that we find yummy.
And your yums.
Exactly, exactly. So where should we start, Sam?
Should we what is your experience with poetry? Where did it begin for you? Where did you like fall in love with it? Was there a time where you didn't like it?
That's a great question. So I think it's been a bit of a roller coaster, a bit of a journey. So I think I'm really lucky that
Yeah.
um, I grew up in a home that was eccentric and problematic in many ways. But one of the really positives was that there was a lot of music and poetry and celebration of arts and literature and creativity. So it was always around. And my dad and my brother are musicians, songwriters. So there was a lot of beautiful lyrics that were around. I was named after Nina Simone. So, her writing and her music was a huge part of my life. But I remember writing my first poem at about 10 years old, I think, and it was called Magical Black Cat. And I just got so much love for it, like from the teachers and my parents and all the grown-ups around me really made a fuss of this quite simple poem. And it really gave me confidence. I was like, wow, it rhymes and everything, so I must be good at this. And so from there, I think it then meant that, it was accessible for me.
Yeah.
And I remember a lot of poets who were around at the time. Like there's somebody called Roger McGough who's actually from Liverpool, I think. And there was this beautiful movement in Liverpool in the 90s, 80s, 90s, where there were these gorgeous poets. I think Brian Patton, Roger McGough were some of them. And they wrote poetry for adults and children. And I remember there was this book they collaborated on called Pie in the Sky or Sky in the Pie. And it
Sky and
had
fire.
all these brilliant poems, like honestly. And I've read some of them recently and I'm like, they're timeless. They're still
Yeah.
brilliant. And then I think I was the same as you, that when I got to GCSEs, it kind of ruined it a little bit for me in that it felt like hard work. I found it quite hard trying to analyze it and unpack the meaning. And then I think what happened was, as I went through breakups and hard times in my life, poetry really was one of the things that got me through and just gave me hope, or the words to express what I was going through, or, really helped me see the silver lining, or yeah, that kind of thing. So I think as I've been through more stuff, I've come across more poetry that has really helped me navigate that.
Yeah.
So, in a nutshell, that's my whirlwind kind of experience with poetry. What about you, Sam?
Do you know what? I relate to that so deeply, not from the childhood perspective, because I wouldn't even say I really had that many brush-ins with poetry when I was like really young. Um, I did in primary school, and we had them like competitions to get your poem into like a magazine or whatever. And I did take part in them. I don't think I won anything, but I did take part. Um, but yeah, it was only when I was in high school, and I was a bit like, I don't think this is for me. I love reading, but I think this is a bit too intellectual for me. But I think that was just how it was presented. It's presented as quite it's presented as education in that format. It's very usually pretentious ones that are on the syllabus, and it's old white men
Yes.
more often than not. And it's just, yeah, it didn't really hit anything. I was a bit like, okay, I'll do it because I have to do it, but I can take it or leave it. But then I went to uni, and I fell in love with everything about it. It was a friend that recommended me Courtney Pepperell's poetry book. And it, again, similarly, it was a breakup. It was going through shit. It was going through, just hard, like moving away for the first time and doing all this kind of new stuff. And this person was like writing down what I didn't have the words to say, or like the emotions that I didn't know I was feeling, but they were right there. And I
Mm.
was like, okay, if this is what it's meant to be like, I get it.
Yeah.
Because after that, I kept buying more, and then I got into Charlie Cox. And a lot of these now I probably wouldn't relate to, but back then I thought it was like the best thing that I'd ever read. And I had like little photos of them cut out on a pinboard, and I had like them everywhere. I used one as like a phone case. Like they were everywhere, like especially Charlie Cox at that time. I thought her poetry just kind of spoke to something in me. But then
Mm.
after that, again, it dropped off after uni, and then it was only due to book talk that I picked it back up again.
Right. So another kind of interesting journey.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
and
I
I'm very
love.
glad I did.
Yeah. Yeah. Good. So you mentioned Charlie Cox.
Yeah.
And then, like, were there particular poems of the time that really stood out for you, or what are the other poets as well, like that have mapped you out and kind of followed you through those different eras of your life?
Do you know what? Charlie Cox and Courtney Pepperell were like the two, but there was also Rumi, of course. Like
Right.
that. I came across Rumi on Pinterest. I was like, oh my God, these are so pretty. And then like come across the poem, read the poem, and I'm like, oh wow. And then that's kind of been one that like Courtney Pepinell, Charlie Cox, they were kind of that era. But
Yeah.
Rumi's like followed me. He won't leave me alone. And I don't want him to. He can stay. Um, but yeah, it was mainly them two for a long time.
Mm. And
What
what do
about
you think?
you?
What about me? Um, well, I mentioned Roger McGough. I think definitely at the time, what I loved was the really playful poems. You know, there's this book which I love, which is T.S. Eliot's Old Possum's Book of Practical Cats, and it's just an entire book about poems to do with cats, and they're all brilliant. They're all brilliant. Um, and I think there's this brilliant poem by Lewis Carroll, who wrote Alice in Wonderland. And I know
Yes.
a lot of what he writes is kind of nonsensical poetry, because the whole point is just how like bizarre and weird and, you know, confusing poetry was at the time. So he was
Yeah.
like, well, I'm just going to make it up. And there's one called The Jabberwocky, which is incredible because it's all completely made up words, but when you read it, it kind of makes sense. So I kind of loved that playfulness. There was a lot of that. And I think more recently, Michael Rosen plays into that as well. There's also somebody called Benjamin Zephaniah, who I
Yes.
absolutely love. And I think he veers into spoken word poetry, which is something that I was really into. I was kind of part of the scene for like 5 minutes when I was in my 20s.
Really?
Yeah, like I had an ex and we ran like this spoken word night in London,
Oh
and it was
wow.
like super trendy, and it lasted like a year and then everyone went their own ways. But that really opened my eyes to some amazing poets, and also, you know, the power of it just being read aloud. So I'll talk about those people later, I think. But I think when I started going through, you know, tough times, times where I really was soul searching, then I would say the people that really, really carried me through that are people like Maya Angelou.
Yes.
I
Still I
also,
rise.
Still I Rise, that poem is the one, like the
Hmm.
one. And
I
Mary
still remember
Oliver.
reading that for the first time, the feeling.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's so simple and it's so universal. And yeah, Shabs mentioned Philip Larkin actually. I brought his poetry book out as well, because Shabs is absolutely right that his turns of phrases and his irony is so brilliant, like
Yeah.
absolutely brilliant. Mary Oliver is another one. There's Wild Geese is such an amazing poem, but there's another one as well called Journey, which I might read later, which is just like, oh, yes, yes, I get it. And there's one particular poem which I share every year, and I genuinely think it might have come close to saving my life. Like, it was so profound for me, and it's called Love After Love by Derek Walcott. And it's all about just coming home to yourself. That's the whole premise of it. And that is the one I share with everybody, whatever they're going through. I share on Valentine's Day to say it doesn't have to be romantic love. Just make sure that you're coming home to yourself. And I think that's the one that I'll always come back to.
That's so special. I
Mhm.
think I think that was one of the ones I was looking at for the picture this.
Yeah,
Actually, that's gorgeous.
absolutely. Yeah, we'll come to that one later.
We will.
Yeah,
Who introduced you to poetry? I know you've said it was quite a big part of like your childhood in the home,
yeah.
but was it like did someone buy you your first poetry book? Was it you that kind of outsourced it?
That's a good question. I can't remember a specific poetry book other than Sky and the Pie. And if that's the case, it would have been my mum and my dad and my second mum, Genevieve, who I've mentioned before here.
Yeah.
Because we grew up like, it's really interesting because we grew up in this kind of environment where it was all immigrant parents and mums and artists and musicians, and we were all living in squats and council flats. But those squats and council flats were full of books and musical instruments and art and things like that. So it's a really interesting kind of dynamic whereby there wasn't much money at all, but there was such cultural education. So I have to give credit to my parents, I think, because they were so switched on, and also I think there were people around us, like we used to have this open home policy, and in the 80s and 90s, when there was apartheid in South Africa and also struggles in Zimbabwe, there was this artist exchange thing that was going on um, where black artists, actors, musicians, and actually artists and writers would smuggle themselves out of their country to come and do political work in London. And
Oh, wow.
they stayed with us. We housed them because they didn't have money. And then they would put on these plays that were illegal in South Africa, and they would put on these concerts with this political music. And they would thank us by leaving poems and artwork in our home. And it was like really good quality, like really
Oh
amazing.
my God.
So I was seeing all this music and listening to all this writing and seeing all this art and watching all these shows from like 4 years old. And it was, of course, for me, it was just like, oh yeah, that's just life. Like, I didn't
Yeah.
realize it was special, but I was really surrounded. And I would say, especially musicians and songwriters, there was such a wealth of people, and some of them were like famous, and I didn't even know, like English ones as well. But we were just surrounded by them. So from that point of view, I feel very lucky that I was surrounded by a lot of poetry, music, art, theatre, and it is credit to my crazy, dysfunctional but wonderful parents.
That
What
is
about you,
incredible.
Sam?
I can't even move past that. That is incredible. And how like culturally rich and it like nourishing and just encouraging of a space to be.
Yeah, yeah. From that point of view, I was very lucky. Yeah.
Yeah.
And how about you? Who introduced you to poetry?
It was a friend from uni because I was going through a breakup. Um, and she'd not long gone through one just before uni, the separating before you go to uni because long distance and it's
Yeah.
all big when you're that age and you're moving however far it's gonna be. Um and she gave me actually her poetry book. It was someone that I was living with in first year. She gave me her copy of that. I've still got it to this day. Lord knows where it is because we've been moving and half my books are still packed. Um, but yeah, I still have it to this day. She wrote a little note in the front of it. Um, but bear in mind, I'd known this girl maybe 3 weeks at this point, so it really did like mean a lot at that specific time. But yeah, it was more of a you're struggling, I see you. This will help,
Yeah.
or at least this is what helps me, and it
Yeah.
did. It did, and it
What a-
opened up conversation between flatmates who didn't know each other.
Yeah.
So it goes deeper than just the poems itself,
Absolutely. Agreed. What a lovely, generous gift. Like
isn't it?
that's gorgeous.
And especially from the perspective now, is realizing like buying a book is, and I know it wasn't bought like specifically, but even like gifting someone a book now, it's quite personal. You don't know what is going on. You don't know whether that's going to resonate, whether it's going to be something they'd be interested in. But I
Yeah.
guess like back then, like social media with books was a lot quieter. There wasn't really much. It was out of the blue, and I thought it was like the most thoughtful little like gesture from a stranger, really.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you've made a good point, actually, that, we do complain about social media, and of course it's got its dark side, but I do feel, especially with poetry, actually, that it has facilitated people discovering, poems, because it's short form, it's easy to kind of
100%.
present in a visual way. So from that point of view, you're right.
Yeah. That's where and like I'm almost ashamed to say it, but I'm not. That is where I consume a lot of my poetry now. I see a lot of it via Instagram,
Yeah,
and that's how I know to go out and buy said poetry book.
yeah,
And it's not a bad thing. I wish I was like that kind of way inclined to go out and find my own, like, what I want from a poetry book. But
yeah,
when I see one poem and it speaks to me, I'm like, well, I love the way that poet writes. I love the way they structure things. I love the way they describe things and how they describe feelings, and that resonates with me. So I will go out and buy that book.
yeah,
Whereas I feel like it's quite hit and miss sometimes.
yeah. Agreed. Agreed. And I wonder then who are the newer discoveries that you've had
Oh,
recently?
recently, Mosab Abu Tawah,
Oh,
of course,
yes.
and he
Yeah.
is one that I came across on Instagram. It was, I think, one of my friends, one of my mutuals from Bookstagram, that put one of his quotes on, and I went and bought the book, and I just thought, oh my, and I did like a whole post on it with so many of like the poems and all annotated, of course.
Of
But,
course.
and I just thought, the pain and the depth of what is in such short poems, really, because some of them are long, but some of them are very, very short.
Yeah.
And the depth of emotion that is conveyed within just such a short amount of words
Yeah.
is unlike anything, because, yeah, you kind of expect that from a book. You've got a whole journey to go on, but to go through a journey with maybe 8 lines is difficult. It is, I can't fathom how difficult that is,
Yeah.
but it's effortless.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
I can't imagine it another way. It
Yeah.
is literally effortless, and to read it is so smooth, but it's just heartbreaking.
Yeah.
It's gutting, like, to read them. Every time I will stop and I will read one that I see, like, even if it's just my own and it comes up on, like, on the view page, the one that I've posted of like
Mhm.
his poetry, and I will stop and I will read it, and it just gets me every single time.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, what you just said, to go on a journey in 8 lines, is just huge, isn't it? It's
Yeah,
magical. If somebody can do that in such short form, then that's miraculous. When
yeah,
you've got, 100,000 words in a book, it's much easier. But to
yeah.
condense that and really take someone on a journey in such a short space of time, and, wring your heart out at the same time, like really gut you and put you back together again, is, you're right, absolute mastery, really.
And especially for Mossad, because obviously what the topic is so distressing and so heart-achingly, like, real and current.
Yeah,
And to read that, that in itself is like spreading awareness. It's spreading like knowledge and things that are being like suppressed
yeah,
everywhere.
yeah.
So I think that in itself is so incredibly powerful.
That's so well put, Sam. We're talking about a Palestinian writer,
Yeah,
and I think, being able to discuss like the role that writing, but especially poetry, has had in this genocide, and us all at home witnessing the most horrific things probably we've ever seen in our lives, and to then have somebody find a way to express, even one fraction of what that experience is just so, so, so important, because it humanizes those people,
hmm,
doesn't it?
yeah,
And it raises them. It reminds us that they are sacred too. We're all
yeah,
sacred. Life is sacred. And the only way you can commit a genocide is if you don't see those people as humans. And so I do think that, yes, of course, there's more important things in this time, than maybe writing and books and poetry. But I also
sure.
think in many ways it's essential, because of that.
100%. And I also have to mention like Mahmoud Darwish, like,
Yes.
incredible, just the same thing. But
Yeah.
I've been reading his poems for a lot longer than I came across Mosab.
Yeah.
But Again, just absolutely heartbreakingly beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
just
And I would add
no
Refat
words.
Alarir to that as well.
Yes. Yeah.
Um, our, our wonderful Refat,
Yeah.
who was murdered. He's no longer with us. And also, there's a beautiful, since we're talking about Palestinian poets, there's a beautiful, very short poem by someone called Khaled Juma, which is called O Rascal Children of Gaza, which I'm
Yes.
sure you've heard of as well. So
Oh,
it's
that
incredible.
poem.
Yeah, yeah. I might have a go at reading it later just to bring it to life. But yes, so we've kind of moved into another area that we were going to talk about anyway, which is poetry as resistance,
Yeah.
right? And we've mentioned some absolutely brilliant Palestinian poets. Who else do you think would be in your list of people that have used poetry as a form of resistance?
Ooh.
I mean, I would add Maya Angelou to that.
Yeah. Maya
I think,
Angelou, of
yeah,
course.
Still I Rise is so political.
Emily Dickinson, maybe.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah.
And also, I think Michael Rosen, who, by the way, is a children's poet, you know, he's funny and silly and he helps people learn to read. But he wrote, and it's so weird because I went to an event about 2 years ago now, which was one of the first big gatherings of people and artists and creatives who wanted to come together and raise money for MAP, to support the people in Palestine.
Yeah.
And it was quite early on in this iteration of the genocide. And there were some incredible people. It was at the Roundhouse in Camden, which is a great venue, and it was absolutely packed. And they had some really well known people. Michael Rosen was one of them, and he came on and he performed a poem called Don't Mention the Children. And it was, I think, inspired by, if I'm right, uh, something to do. I think it was that from what I remember, there had been a long, long time ago, uh, way before this time, about 2014, a mention in an article in the Guardian that Israel had banned a radio advert that had listed the names of children that had been killed in Gaza. That they had a policy that the names of the children should not be read out. And he wrote a poem in response to this called Don't Mention the Children. And he performed it live, and it was utterly flooring. Like, the whole place erupted. But just before we came on live, like literally about 2 hours ago, Miss Anne Harriman, who is also a wonderful photographer and philanthropist and activist, had interviewed Michael Rosen and posted it on Instagram. And Michael Rosen is performing that poem.
Meant to
Like,
be.
yeah, it was so weird. And I sent you the link. I was like, oh my God, this is one of the ones that I wanted to read. So I would say to you, please go and have a listen. I mean, I may or may not read it. He does a much, much better job of it. And it is flooring, but it's very, very clever because it's so simple. And it's just so, it cuts through the madness of this time. It's
Yeah.
like, you have basically given orders that the names of the dead children should not be mentioned. That
Yeah.
is your policy. Listen to yourself. Like, he just does that, and it just cuts through the absolute madness. So that's political power for
Yeah.
me. That's poetry as resistance. You know,
100%.
it's that. Yeah.
That. Also, Audre Lorde.
Oh, of course. Audre Lorde. Where would we be without Audre? The real Lord.
Yes. You
Yeah,
know.
absolutely brilliant. Yeah, both essays and poetry are
Hmm.
so incredibly important. So yeah, you're absolutely right. Um, So tell us about some of the poems that have got you through the tough times.
Oh man. So recently, Feathers by Donna Ashworth is
Yeah,
the one that I've been leaning on.
yeah,
Um Obviously that's more of a recent one, but that's the one that I chose to be read at my nan's funeral.
yes,
Um I might read it later if I can get the words out. I will
yeah,
try my best, but
yeah.
it's so beautiful. And
Mm.
I wrote a poem not too long ago about grief and just my experience. I wasn't even trying to write a poem, I was just writing in my notes app. Um, but that was very heavily like inspired by the thought of seeing a feather and thinking of someone that you love, or seeing a rainbow, or seeing just anything in nature that could be a sign that that person is coming to check you're okay, to just check in, to say hello, to be near, that they've never really gone too far. um and but mine was more about the mind-boggling part of, obviously you can think that, but you're angry. um
Yes,
and you can think that, you can be told that, oh, that's so and so, that's that person, but until you accept it yourself, it's gonna hurt.
mm. Yeah.
um but yeah, the one that's really been getting me through is Feathers. And there was another one, what's the name of it, but again it is Donna Ashworth.
Good old Donna Ashworth.
Yeah, I can't remember the title of the other one, but again it's about grief. It's
Yeah,
But isn't it interesting? It's the times where you need it the most
yeah,
that poetry always comes into play. And that's something I've sensed from both of our journeys with it, actually. You find it
absolutely.
again when you need it.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And also, I would say, there's a bit of magic in there, which is that the right poem seems to find you as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, 100%. I wasn't even looking for Feathers. I'd read it, you know, ages ago when I'd read
yeah,
Donna Ashworth's books, because I went on like a massive kind of hype moment for Donna Ashworth. I was like, you are incredible. I think the one that got me obsessed with the way she writes is The Taker of the Photo. And
yeah,
it's about being the person that's always in the group who's taking the photos, making
yeah,
the memories. And it's always like, oh, you're like paparazzi, you're doing this, you're doing that. But then it's once you look back on them moments, you appreciate that person, you appreciate them pictures, you appreciate them memories being documented. And
yeah,
that one is something that I read and I thought, do you know what? That is me. Like I am always, and I got told off again by my nan all the time. I was bad at, worse than paparazzi, apparently, according to nan. But now I have all these memories, I have all these things to look back on.
yeah,
And I would be paparazzi 2.0 if that's, if it means getting shouted at one or two times. I
yeah,
will happily sit with my memories and my pictures and know that those moments are there to be looked back on, even if it's just because there's a lot that happens in life.
yeah,
There's a lot from day to day. Like, I can't remember what I had for tea last night, but I can remember the feeling of my nan singing "Who's," like that doorbell song, the one from the advert. Who
yeah.
Someone's knocking at your door, someone's ringing the bell. I can remember that vividly because I've got a video of her doing it in Poundland. And I just
Right.
think, like, who needs to know what you're having for tea? Like, sometimes the taker of the photo, yes, you're taking pictures of food, but that might be what you want to remember, and
Yeah,
that's what that poem gets across. And I think it's one that everybody should read, even if it's on like the guise that you are the person that tells someone off for
yeah,
taking the pictures. One day they will be all that's left, and they will be there.
yeah. Beautifully put. I cannot wait to read this poem. It sounds
I
absolutely
do have
gorgeous.
it, so I might read it later.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say, I wonder if we should just read a couple now.
Yeah.
And
Oh, let
then
me
I
get
think
me
we've got more to come later. And I think if we just, just space them out a little bit, then
yeah.
it means we can have a little bit of discussion in between, but also just let them land a little bit. So
Sounds
brace
good to
yourselves,
me.
everybody, because some poetry is about to come your way. And we'd love to know your thoughts on that. You guys are so great in the chat.
Yeah.
There's so much richness there, there's rich conversation going on. But yeah, I think it's time to read some of our favourite poetry. So when
Have you
you're
got one
ready.
ready, Nina?
I actually do. All right, let me read
Okay.
mine. So this is the one that I come back to over and over again. It's got me through so many breakups. It's got me through estrangement with my family. It's got me through deep, deep work that I did on myself to really build a relationship with myself when really I didn't know who I was, and I found my own company just terrifying. So now what I do is I post this, and if you go through my Instagram, pretty much every Valentine's I just post it again because I just want to remind people that yeah, romantic love is great, of course it is, but it is just the surface. I mean, you're scratching the surface of all the possible love that you can experience,
Yeah.
and to really start with yourself. So this is called Love After Love by Derek Walcott. The time will come when, with elation, you will greet yourself, arriving at your own door, in your own mirror, and each will smile at the other's welcome and say, sit, eat. You will love again the stranger who was yourself. Give wine, give bread, give back your heart to itself, to the stranger who has loved you all your life, whom you ignored for another, who knows you by heart. Take down the love letters from the bookshelf, the photographs, the desperate notes, peel your own image from the mirror. Sit, feast on your life.
Why do I feel like I'm about to cry?
It gets me every time, even
Oh,
all these years later. It's so good, isn't it?
it is fascinating though, because we are the only person that we are with every day for the entirety of our lives. And we are
Yeah.
often the person we overlook most.
Exactly, exactly. And there's not much space on Instagram for, just your own journey and yourself, like, yeah, Shab said it hit hard.
Yeah.
I hope it did because when I read it, when I say it arrived in my life at the perfect time, it really was the perfect time. And yeah, I'm so grateful to Derek Walcott for writing it because for me it is perfection.
Yeah. I'd never that you are the first person that I saw post that poem. Like I've never read it before. But when you posted that, I remember it got me more hearing you read it. But
Yeah.
oh my God, so
It's a
just
good one, isn't it?
yeah,
It's a good one.
it's a
Um,
good one.
what about you, Sam? What have you got?
So this is The Taker of the Photo by Donna Ashworth from Growing Brave. I am the taker of the photos. I am the receiver of the groans, the eye rolls, and hurry ups. I am the one who disrupts the moment to capture them. And sometimes it's hard to be that person, but I'm also the holder of the memories. I'm the one who keeps the precious proof. I'm the bearer of the stories, the maker of the photo books that bring tears, laughter, and love rushing into the room each time they're opened. The eye rolls will be replaced one day with absolute all consuming gratitude for the image of a smiling face so missed and a memory returned home to stay. Keep disrupting life to capture it, my friends. When it's all that is left, someone somewhere will be so very glad that you did.
Oh my goodness.
I know.
Absolutely gorgeous. And
It gets me every
obviously,
time.
yeah, yeah. And obviously so, so relevant, especially for you right now. But my gosh. And that we take those people for granted, don't we? We really, really do. And then all of a sudden, those images are just so precious. It's such a
Yeah.
clever, unique choice of subject matter, isn't it?
Yeah. Because it is. And like I've been the person that's grown in, even though I am the one that does it. But
Yeah,
looking back, that is what we will have left. And
yeah,
like I often felt bad in the moments when my nan was like, "Oh, you like paparazzi? Stop it, stop it." But now I have them moments, and even looking back at the stop it, it's
yeah.
funny because I know she wasn't genuinely serious. Otherwise, she'd have, been a bit like, right, leave off now. But but she wasn't. She would just kind of like hide her face with a pillow. But
Yeah.
now I have them things to look back on. And one thing that's really been, I don't know whether it's a comfort or whether it's just different, But the
Mm.
one thing that I've been holding on to is the fact that when I lost my paps, I think I've spoke about this before, um, that was very early. I think I was 10, 11. I didn't, if smartphone, yeah, smartphones weren't kind of a thing. I didn't have anything with his voice on, like, and now, like, I still don't have anything with his voice on. I've not heard his voice since I was about 11. So having these memories and taking these videos and hearing her voice still now is something I don't take for granted. So that poem really, really resonates with me because I will never stop for as long as I live doing that and being the taker of the photos.
Wow. Well, that
Yeah,
explains so much, doesn't it? You know, if you've had such a huge, devastating loss as a child and not being able to capture, like you said, his voice or videos or what have you, then of course, then you would have that awareness in the back of your mind to
yeah,
capture those special moments with those precious people.
yeah.
Wow,
And
my
I've
goodness.
never thought of it like that as like a subconscious, like, oh, I need to do it or I won't have it. But
Yeah,
naturally, natural instinct, it probably is. Like I've been on the other end. I don't want that again.
yeah, absolutely. My
Yeah.
goodness me. Beautifully, beautifully captured is what I was
Yeah.
going to say. Yeah, yeah, and Beck agrees with you. Yeah, photos and videos have come on so much. It's a massive hole when you don't
Yeah.
have this. It's so true.
100%.
Yeah, you're
It
right.
is. And you feel it because
Yeah,
even when you do have the photos, it's not the
yes,
same as a video because a photo is still,
yeah,
like I feel like I'm saying obvious things, but a photo is still, it's not. A video breathes so much more life into something.
yeah,
Because I
yeah,
said it was only the other day I was speaking to my mum and I was like getting all upset. We were speaking about Nan and I mentioned Paps and I was like, sometimes I have to kind of, like pinch myself and tell myself he was real because there's nothing
yeah.
to there's no proof. There's
Mm.
obviously proof, but there's no
Yeah,
video, like there's
yeah,
no
there's no,
moving, no moving stills, there's no
yeah,
like, there is, but they're on videos and they've been damaged and it's
yeah,
life happens,
yeah.
but I didn't want that to repeat.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Beautifully put, Sam. I think we should stay with this topic because I think
Yeah.
although it's, sad and heartbreaking, I think it's really relatable. I would like to read next Khaled Juma's poem, O Rascal Children of Gaza. I'm going to try not to cry. Um, but I feel
You're
that
in
this.
safe company.
Thank you. But it's going to get uplifting later, guys. I just want to let you know, but we're going to go there. I think that's
Yeah.
really, really important. So this is Khaled Juma's O Rascal Children of Gaza. O rascal children of Gaza, you who constantly disturbed me with your screams under my window, you who filled every morning with rush and chaos, you who broke my vase and stole the lonely flower on my balcony, come back and scream as you want and break all the vases, steal all the flowers. Come back. Just come back.
Oh man, every time.
Yeah,
I think that just deserves a moment.
yeah.
Breathe it in.
It just shows that sometimes the simplest are the best, you know.
Yeah.
And I
And
really
this is
had,
what I was saying about it's so short, so
yeah,
short,
yeah.
and that's all
That's
it
why I read
needs.
it. Yeah, I mean, there's so many brilliant ones that are longer, but
Yeah.
I just think that does, like you said, I don't even know how many lines that is. It's probably about the same, about eight. I
Yeah.
think it's literally 8 or 9 lines, and it just floors me every time. Every time. It's just one of the most powerful things.
Yeah.
So yes, thank you for indulging me. I felt like it needed to be read. What
This
would you
this
like?
one that I've got is again on the same line, so I do apologize. But this is one of my favorites
Yeah,
that gets me every time, and it's
yeah,
Think of Others by Mahmoud Darwish.
beautiful. Yeah,
As you prepare your breakfast, think of others. Don't forget to feed the pigeons. As you conduct your wars, think of others. Don't forget those who want peace. As you pay your water bill, think of others. Think of those who have only clouds to drink from. As you go home, your own home, think of others. Don't forget those who live in tents. As you sleep and count the planets, think of others. There are people who have no place to sleep. As you liberate yourself with metaphors, think of others, those who have lost their right to speak. And as you think of distant others, think of yourself and say, I wish I were the candle in the darkness.
My goodness. Stunning.
It gets me
Stunning.
every time,
Yeah.
every single time.
Yeah. I think the thing that touches me about that one is this thing of like just the lottery of being born here and not
Yeah.
there. That's
Literally
it.
is a lottery. That's all that
Yeah.
separates us.
Yeah.
That is all. That could be us quite easily.
There, but
It's
for the
literally
rest.
a postcode lottery of where you are born. And that is the top and bottom of it. We are no more removed from them than we are from the people that are next door.
Yeah. 100%. 100%. Thank you. So I think I'm going to read my poem then.
Yes.
I'm so nervous about reading my own poetry, but I think it's relevant. So this is something that I wrote, I think over a year ago now. Again, just trying to fathom and make sense of what was going on. So it's called Do Not Fear the Bearded Man. Do not fear the bearded man, the one they told you was the symbol of all your fears. Though he breathes the dustiest of air, though his tongue has not known water for days, though his hands are calloused and bloody from digging out his children, whose tiny limbs have known the merciless metal of their bombs, for he is a king among rubble. Fear instead the clean-shaven one, with the dental work, in his white house, with his most private of jets, cleared for all air space. Do not fear the covered woman, for she is a keeper of the land, the songs, the recipes, the earth's ancient secrets, passed down from keeper to keeper, bloodline to bloodline, a holy woman on sacred land. Fear instead the blow-dried one, with the brightest of teeth, who bears them as she screams from complete and utter safety of just how terrified she is for her safety, whose self-righteous hate is not the same as their righteous rage, whose children are raised with a space where empathy should lodge, and when they come of age, the space will be filled with hate, their hands with state-of-the-art weapons and orders to empty them into brown children. Fear not the children, with stones in their hands, for they were left with nothing else but rubble to play with, to protect their siblings with, to draw their dreams in, to make their tiny, mighty protests with. Fear instead the ones who covet, covet, covet. Covet not just others' land, but their connection to the land. Not just the fruit, but the very roots. Who covet not just others' homes, but the centuries of community that dwelled there. Not just their scarves, their songs, their recipes, their words, but the deeply embedded meanings stirred, stewed, seeded within them. Who covet the water, who covet the air, the power, who covet their thick virile beards, their family ties and ancestral lineage, their unfathomable, unshakable faith. Fear not the ones who gather a few sticks to burn so the survivors of the day may gather and share their stories, sing songs of solidarity, endurance, resistance, old songs, ancient songs, written as they gathered their fruit in harvest time, in simpler times. For to fear them is to fear the simple, raw truth. Fear instead the ones who own the print, the press, the platforms, who laminate and edit and twist the truth, try to buy the truth, to hide it, ban it, in shadow. Fear the ones who covet, not the ones who cover. Fear the limb shatterers, the skin hoarders, the organ takers, the fake news makers. But also know that they fear you. For you are the light to their shadow. You and you and you make a we that casts a beam across the world that reaches through the dusty air to those who feared they were forgotten forever, that takes up their song and in a million billion voices echoes it around the land, that cuts through the laminated lies, that shares and likes and shouts the truth, that boycotts and marches and educates and argues and organises, that insists that business as usual shall not pass, that the truth will out, that the light will shine on their designer darkness, that we will never be the same again, that we cannot be free, none of us, until they are free.
Incredible. Do you know what really just got me? The survivors of the day is something that's really stuck with me.
Thank you for
Sometimes it
indulging.
really is that simple.
Yeah, just whoever's left. Yeah. Thank you for indulging me. All
Thank you for
right.
sharing that. That incredible. I remember watching your video of that for the first time, and I was just sat there, much like now, in awe and just a bit lost for words. And I feel it again, and that's when you know something is.
Thank you, Sam. Well, you also have got some beautiful poems of your own. Would you like to share some?
Okay. Okay, this one is called Let Me Sleep. Let me sleep until I can see a falling feather without it taking my breath away. Let me sleep until I can see a robin and say your name with a smile. Let me sleep until rainbows are a warm reminder of all that you taught me. Let me sleep until I can breathe in time with a butterfly's wings as it comes to say you're near. Let me sleep until I can appreciate the sight of your empty chair for once being occupied by you. Let me sleep until I can search for you in the stars. Let me sleep through the days where it feels like my lungs are too heavy to breathe. Let me sleep through the days where signs aren't enough. Let me sleep through the hard part. Let me sleep while the world keeps on turning. Let me sleep. Let me sleep. Let me sleep.
Oh, Sam. Absolutely stunning. So
Thank you.
stunning. Oof.
Oof, indeed.
My goodness, it's so simple and so beautifully put, and it just encapsulates the grieving process so perfectly and what you've been through over these last few weeks. So thank you so much for sharing it. It's so raw, it's so pure as well, and it's gut wrenching. So thank you.
Thank you for giving me the space to read it.
Absolute pleasure. Absolute pleasure. Um, we were going to do a poetry dinner party special.
Yeah,
I think that would be a good idea. And
I
I think
think
we
that's a good idea now.
yes, absolutely. Just
Oof.
thank you, everybody, for going on this journey with us. And there's so much uplifting stuff to read as well. So let's see.
Yeah.
You might cram in one or two of our favourite, really inspirational, uplifting ones as well.
Yes.
But if you had the chance to have a dinner with your favourite poets, past or present,
Oh.
who do you think they would be?
Okay. Got this one in the bag. After that poem, Nina, you,
Oh,
Maya, Maya Angelou, Emily Dickinson, Mahmoud Darwish, Mosab Abu Toa, Rumi, Mary Oliver, Deborah Alma, of course,
yes.
Sylvia Plath, and Rupi Kaur.
So many great choices. Sylvia Plath and Ruby Kaur, such
Mm-hmm.
great choices. 100%. I think we could do a whole hour on Sylvia Plath alone, to be honest.
100. I was obsessed with her journals. I
Same.
went through such a rabbit hole.
Yeah. Yeah, same. Bless her and her memory. Very strong choices. Yes, we
Who would
haven't.
be at your table?
Well, obviously you. Obviously. Um,
You can
I
just
think
pull me in like a build your own little chair. You can still have 10. I'll just build my own chair at the corner.
Oh, well, do you know what? I don't even know how many I've got. So let's see. If there's space, great. You can be the head of the table.
Okay.
But Mary Oliver, so we've got her in common. Maya Angelou, Benjamin Zephaniah.
Yeah.
Uh, I think I would have, Joseph Coelho, who we haven't talked about yet. Now, I went to
Yes.
school with Joseph. We were
I still
actually at
can't
school.
believe that.
I know. So Joseph became Children's Poet Laureate like last year or something. And I was like, little Joe, are you talking? Are you joking? And he grew up in a tower block in Brompton or Roehampton. And he's brilliant. So Joe definitely would be there. I don't know how many that is now. Um, there is, who else? Derek Walcott, just because of that poem. Roger McGough, I think, is brilliant. T.S. Eliot, did I say him? I've got a feeling he's probably. Oh, K. Tempest. Now, we haven't talked about K. Tempest. And I would just like to say that the most transcendent moment of my life in poetry was at a K. Tempest performance. Kay used to be known as Kate Tempest, and now they've transitioned into K Tempest. If you don't know this person's work, go discover them. I cannot tell you how this person will change your life. So they wrote a show called Brand New Ancients, which is an entire hour-long show of spoken word, which is all about just normal people, normal characters who have normal lives, normal jobs, but how in some ways they're actually as epic as the gods themselves. And I saw that show and it blew my mind. And nobody knew who she was. And it was in this tiny little room in Clapham. And then she went on tour into the States and she came back famous. And
Yeah.
she headlined Glastonbury, and sorry, they headlined Glastonbury. And it was all, the rest is history. But please go discover K Tempest because they will change your life. And one more, Warsan Shire, who is
Oh,
amazing. Warsan Shire, if you don't know who she is, absolutely amazing, brilliant, brilliant poet, featured in Beyonce's Lemonade video. That's
Shabs
how
will
deep
love
this
that.
person is. Yeah. So please go discover Warsan Shire because she's amazing too. So that's I think that's about 12. So I'll leave it there.
Keep going.
Sure, I
It's
could.
an all you can eat buffet. Every 10 minutes, it's a new 10.
I told you we could go on for 2 hours,
Yes, I
didn't I?
know her.
We haven't even scratched the surface, have we? But anyway,
No.
shall we, either you or me, I don't mind, or both of us, pick a poem that has been one of the most uplifting ones? Would you like to
Oh,
read something? I've got an idea of something that I would like to read, but I'm very happy for you to go.
no. Do you know what? Go ahead.
Are you sure?
I'm very sure.
Are you sure you haven't got one I mean, we could both do one if you've got one.
Okay. Yeah. All
What have
right.
you got? What have you got?
Well, I've got Still I Rise, and I've also got one from Rumi.
Okay, which would you like to read?
Was yours Maya?
I've got two. One is Maya and the other one is a Mary Oliver one. So I don't mind which one it is.
Okay. I'll do Maya. No,
Do
I will.
Maya.
I will do Rumi.
Are you
Actually,
sure?
yeah, I'm
Okay.
sure.
All right. Would you like to go first? I don't mind.
You go first. I'm just finding it.
Fine. Absolutely. Okay, everybody. This is Still I Rise by Maya Angelou. You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod me in the very dirt, but still, like dust, I'll rise. Does my sassiness upset you? Why are you beset with gloom? 'Cause I walk like I've got oil wells pumping in my living room. Just like moons and like suns with the certainty of tides, just like hopes springing high, still I'll rise. Did you want to see me broken, bowed head and lowered eyes, shoulders falling down like teardrops, weakened by my soulful cries? Does my haughtiness offend you? Don't you take it awful hard, 'cause I laugh like I've got gold mines digging in my own backyard. You may shoot me with your words, you may cut me with your eyes, you may kill me with your hatefulness, but still, like air, I'll rise. Does my sexiness upset you? Does it come as a surprise that I dance like I've got diamonds at the meeting of my thighs? Out of the huts of history's shame I rise. Up from a past that's rooted in pain, I rise. I'm a black ocean, leaping and wide, welling and swelling, I bear the tide. Leaving behind nights of terror and fear, I rise. Into a daybreak that's wondrously clear, I rise. Bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave. I am the dream and the hope of the slave. I rise, I rise, I rise.
Oh, there's just nothing like it. Just
Mic drop.
literally, like, what can you even say? It's eternally relevant. It
Yeah,
is incredible.
yeah, yeah. Right, Rumi. Let's finish on
Rumi.
Rumi.
It's
Let's
a
do
very
it.
short one, but it's very appropriate and I love it.
Go for it.
Yesterday I was clever, so I wanted to change the world. Today I am wise, so I am changing myself.
Oh my gosh. What is
I
that? Like
know.
4 lines or something?
Literally like 4 lines, but very, very
Perfection.
few words on a line.
Perfection. Absolute
Incredible.
perfection. And what a great note to end on. Thank you all for coming on this poetic journey with us. We've got content for another 10 hours. We'll have to do
We
another
do.
poetry one. I did just notice that Shab said that I think she knows K Tempest. So I'm a bit jealous of you, Shabs, if that's true. And I'm not going to talk to you for like a week because I'm too jealous.
I think she means from the Beyonce music video, I will say,
Oh,
not
what a
personally.
fire. Okay, got you, got you. Okay, you're allowed, you're allowed. But anyway, thank you, Lorna. Thank you, Beck as well. Thank you all for being here.
Yeah,
Thank you, our guest from Canada. Um, it's wonderful, and thank you all for just indulging us while we shared our own work as well. That's a
yeah,
very vulnerable, raw thing to do. So we really appreciate you making us feel so safe and
yes.
so appreciated.
Such a
Um,
safe space.
yeah, it really is. And we really hope that we've demystified poetry a little bit
Yeah,
and made it a bit more accessible. So you can find your own poems. And we might even just share, maybe on some of our Instagrams and our socials, some of the poems that we've shared today, just so
yeah.
that you can enjoy them again.
And even the ones that we didn't get a chance to read, we can put
Yeah,
them all up.
lovely. Great
Yeah,
idea. Great. So expect some poetry content to come your way in the next few days.
yes. Oh, that makes me so happy, Beck Beck.
Yeah, it really does. Bless you all. Thank you. Thank you, Sam.
Thank you, Nina. And I'm so excited for next week. We
Yeah,
are back again.
we are. We really are on Wednesday. So
We are.
join us. We've got a lovely guest and have a great week, everyone. Stay cool.
Stay cool, very,
Thank
very cool,
you.
and hydrated.
Yes. Bye.
Bye, everyone.